Thank you. And all hail Empress Rita. Sorry about that.
Hey guys, you guys are awesome. I have to say though, when I was little and watched the original, I had the biggest crush on the Black Ranger.
Oh.
Can I get a hug? Sorry, what was that? Can I get a hug? We're in booth 1414. The kissing booth will be open.
For real?
Okay. So,
Alright. Next question.
Okay, I was always a big fan of the Power Rangers when I was growing up, but then many years later when I was a teenager, I found out that the Power Rangers actually was adapted from a Japanese series. So during the production, how much knowledge did you know of the original series that you were getting?
We didn't really know that much about it. It was they showed us a couple episodes and said this was a show that ran in Japan for like 10 years already, and we were like, really? And they showed us, after we had already been filming, we got a chance to see Zoo Rangers a little bit, but mostly the Japanese footage that was used at the back of the show. There was nothing to relate to as far as the first half of the show as us as teenagers. It was, you know, basically an American concept, that part of it. I guess in Japanese, I never really saw a full episode of Zoo Rangers, so I don't know what they were like as characters, and I probably wouldn't have understood anyway. But yeah, we didn't see much of it, but we knew that it existed.
I think I was told that it was a little bit more violent. And out here, obviously they didn't want that, and that's where we did a lot of PSAs. Stuff like that.
Yeah, they tried to take, you know, these very violent adult themes and then try to make it for kids. And so that's why some of the storylines were a little odd. They didn't always make sense.
Yeah, I've heard some stories about some of the Japanese footage that was really kind of interesting. It was like, some of it was very adult, so...
Yeah. Johnny said he watched one because he was curious. It was an episode where there was like a pipe that sprayed water at him or something, and it turned out that the Zoo Rangers version was actually pee, like it was peeing on the person. So it was very, risque. Not always
Power Ranger golden showers.
That's how Goldo was made.
That's funny.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hello.
Hi.
I grew up with the show, like most of us. There's pyrotechnics used on the show for both the American version, right? And I was wondering if there's any accidents or problems, or what it was like working with the pyrotechnics and the fireworks, and how much is special effects and how much...
They were really careful with that. They were very careful. Like, they would not have us within miles from that because they were so worried that somebody would get hurt and production would be shut down or whatever. So we really weren't around it. The stuntmen, I don't know that any of them got hurt. I mean, I think they got more hurt, like, kicking each other on accident. Us kicking them on accident. Yeah, those are kind of the only injuries that we, you know, just like fighting injuries, but nothing like that.
Let's
Thank
play.
you.
You're welcome.
Hi. I grew up watching the show like everyone else here, and I used to have a lot of stuff, but my mom gave it away because. Oh, it was kind of weird for a 15-year-old to play with Megatron, but still. I still have the VHS of the episodes. Like, I have food fights. So when you were talking about it, I was like, I know it.
My first things are hot.
Okay, and I used to have the little black Power Ranger where you could flip over the
head into the mat. Yeah. My mom gave that one away too. So okay, girl.
My mom stole my Michael Jackson Barbie. I understand the pain.
Okay, I was actually kind of hoping if I could hug the helmet because the other one was my favorite.
You should hug her too. What's important is what's beneath the helmet.
Run away with it.
Yeah, hi.
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, I just want to know what were some of your inspirations to pursue the careers that you have right now?
Good question. You want to start down there? You!
All right.
Jim Carrey guy.
Who was my inspiration? The man in the mirror, I guess. I was waiting for that. No, man, honestly, well, he was my inspiration when I first started my career, because I actually started as a dancer. So, yeah, Michael Jackson, MJ was definitely my inspiration in the beginning. After that, man, just being yourself, man, that's it, just being myself, honestly. And I worked with Jason. Jason helped me pick up my mannerisms for this character, so I appreciate his help. It means a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it.
I guess my inspiration would have to be my karate instructor. Growing up as a kid in a karate studio, it's all I basically knew. My mom, big inspiration in my life. So, and you guys, come on. Who's from California out here? Who flew in?
You're not.
That's a tough one. Inspiration. I'd say my father a lot because he was funny. He was a funny man. He would meow on the balcony. He just had this odd sense of humor. And then there's an actress that some of you people may know called Jonathan Winters. And I got to work with him with Nancy Cartwright, who plays Bart Simpson on tour. And I grew up with Jonathan Winters, who did all these characters. And I got to work with the man, and it was like, wow, that was my dream come true. He was my idol. So, and I always played with voices because my dad did, my sister was good with dialect. So playing with voices was always something that came naturally to me from my family. So I think that's my answer.
And she had all those voices in her head.
Watching movies about women who had multiple personalities.
I guess my inspiration, obviously my family, they're really heavily involved in my life, but Michael Jackson. I love Michael Jackson as a kid. Like, that's probably the one person that I was like, wow, he's little, he's on stage. I thought it was two different people. I thought, because I mean, obviously I wasn't born when he was little, but like seeing that old footage as a child, I thought that was a whole nother kid that was like, and then when I realized it was the same person, it was just so amazing to know that someone could start off that young and kind of, so I always wanted to be this young person. And Michael Jackson actually danced to his song on the Power Ranger audition. So, yeah, so it worked out.
One of my first inspirations as well was Michael Jackson. And that's just for dancing and like the ability to capture people on stage. But acting-wise, funny enough, one of my inspirations was Michael J. Fox. That's Family Ties, he was that character. I thought I kind of was like him. I grew up in Detroit, and Detroit's a pretty tough city. So Michael Keaton Michael J. Fox his character I related to somehow, and also Richie Cunningham. And people call me the Richie Cunningham of Detroit. That was always really nice. So, some of my motivations, and then like Bill Cosby and stuff like that. Yeah. Oh, and Bruce Lee.
Actually, it's funny though. I like Michael J. Fox too from the Back to the Future. Yeah. I even had, swear to God, I used to wear like the little acid wash Guess jeans with the rolled up sleeve shirt, suspenders, and I used to like sleep like this when he slept. You know, he slept in the show. I used to sleep like that. I was kind of inspired by it. But my real inspirations were always Bruce Lee and all the guys from the Cobra Kai. That guy's cool.
My family was a huge inspiration. They still just kind of encourage me to keep going forward. I really love comedy, so I used to watch Carol Burnett, the Carol Burnett Show. I love creating characters. I love doing sitcoms. So acting-wise, I would always watch her show. And then Janet Jackson, I try to be her. And Michael Jackson.
I can't say there was one person that I specifically admired, because I love dancing, I love singing, and I loved acting, so I was inspired by a lot of people. I was more inspired by what I could do if I was to become someone known, or, you know, what kind of people I could touch, how I could make a difference in the world. So that was always my goal. It was such a great medium to meet like all of you guys and be a bigger voice in the world.
This is great to actually see all you guys here together. It's like looking at my my childhood all over again. It's really nice to see you guys again. Thank you.
Real quick, I just want to say one thing. One of my buddies is out in the audience, man. Where's Monte at? Monte, where you at, buddy? Yeah, where's Monte? Where's he at? Oh, there he is. Hey, that's everybody give up for Monte, man. He's a good friend of mine. He came out to see me.
Hi, nice to meet all of you.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I know what the Morpheus do, they can be simplistic or just like flailing your arms around, so I'd like to know when you all did your group more, how hard was it like to be perfect in unison, get it right every time?
You got a lot of takes.
Yeah, it was funny. Let me tell you, it was funny.
You know, the hardest one was, sorry, the hardest one for me was the turbo, because we had to hit them, so that little phallic symbol popped out, and it was so hard to get them to connect at the same time when we were all trying to do it together, so there was a lot of takes for that.
Well, that's really cool, bro.
You know, I grew up, like everybody else in here, I grew up watching you guys. I don't know how many times I got suspended from school playing Run Friends with Power Rangers and whatnot. We already covered, you know, your favorite moments from the shows. I was curious if you guys had a particular favorite episode you guys filmed.
My favorite, I think, was probably the Wild Wild West. Just because we were acting so stupid the whole day. I mean, it was just like insanity. Thank you. I'm from Texas, so.
I had a lot of favorite ones as well, but I would think the one that stood out was either the Rangers in the outfield, when I got to, it was my first episode where I got to play baseball, because I grew up playing baseball with the boys, and a song sung Yellow.
I think for me it was my first episode, Different Shade of Pink, because I got to be evil and good at the same time.
Even being on the show, obviously one of my favorite episodes was Little Strong Man, but I really liked the Ninja Raiders in the movie, the first movie.
Yeah.
They had some cool costumes. I was really impressed by that. So.
There was a guy who had the movie costume. Where does that guy go? Oh, yeah. There was somebody who had the Mighty Morphin, the armor costume. Oh, cool. We got to check. Cool.